Hi, Tony. I'm Keith Bashirs coming to you from Washington State, and you are
Tony Juays going you from Texas.
awesome. All right. Um, so here in GHL Business Launch, what we do is live training once a week. Plus, we have our the ongoing conversations that are in the high level group and sorry, in the Facebook group. And then we have our private community on Go Kollab platform where we have additional conversations, and we also have our entire training library. And the entire purpose of having this material that talks about how do you launch a business, probably or possibly using high level as all or part of the foundation of that business, and avoid getting the typical distractions that are causing side hustlers and freelancers and solopreneurs to get distracted. And we talk about three windows of three windows of revenue. So beyond 10K, that's a business that is stable, profitable, and ready to scale. And if your business isn't position to scale, that's a whole kind of business consulting kind of requirement issue that isn't what we do in the GHL business launch, because we're trying to launch someone to the place where they can start scaling. In the vernacular, in the high level world, a lot of people talk about, well, I help businesses scale. Well, if you haven't scaled a business, how do you know that you help people scale?
Right.
In fact, the window of time from 3K a month to 10K a month is I own a job that is producing an income for my family, but it's not a business or company that is ready to scale. It's a business that revolves around my time and effort.
Self-sustaining sort of.
It's not self-sustaining yet. It's profitable. It could be a self-sustaining income, but it's a job that has to be worked every day, every week. It doesn't just it isn't dependent upon other people's work, it's dependent on your own labor.
Yeah.
Um, Between 0 and 3,000 a month, that isn't even a business yet. That's a hobby that happens to pay for itself, maybe. Um, and so these two windows, 0 to 3K and 3K to 10K, are where GHL Business Launch helps people grow from, I don't even know what I want my business to look like, to I'm ready to decide what's next for my business. Um, and two ditches often derail people on this journey of finding this path, the right path for them. One is the illusion of permanence, and that is the idea that at any point along this journey, if we realize it's not the right path, then we have self-determination. We have the right to choose a different path. But we should do so deliberately, because as we get from this 0 to somewhere around the 3K mark, we realize that the part we like best is this part. Well, okay, so let's now shift our gear so we focus on that part to get us to the 10K. Or what we've been doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of the other thing, and we realize that the one that's the most profitable is this one, and then that's the one we focus on going forward. Um, that doesn't mean we wipe away those other things, but it means we don't have to continue to focus on them if they're not serving us anymore. That illusion of permanence usually hits people in the 3K to 10K range. Sometime during that, they start feeling like they have to keep doing something because they have done it. It's what that got them to where they are. Even if looking into the future, it's not the thing that's going to get them to 20 or 30K a month in company revenue. Um, the thing that gets most people that are in the startup phase, in the 0 to 3, 3 to 5 range, is the shiny object syndrome. And this is the part that is most critical for most of the people who are in the GHL business launch phase of their business. Is there are people who are using HighLevel this way, and they say you should do it this way. And there are people who are using HighLevel that way, and they're saying you should do it that way.
Yeah.
And both of them are right, but they aren't necessarily right for you.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the shiny object syndrome. And it's people who are well-intentioned, say giving advice saying you should do this or that. And the problem for someone who doesn't know for sure what path they're on, they never spend long enough on any one thing for it to actually achieve results. And so they're constantly bouncing back and forth between the things. So that's why that avoiding the shiny object syndrome, avoiding the illusion of permanence, the sunk cost fallacy, and finding the right path. That's what GHL Business Launch is about. So what I asked Tony to come talk about today is how, if that path is the traditional marketing agency, what the traditional marketing agency looks like for somebody. And we'll come back to that in just a moment. Let's start with this. Introducing Tony Juays. Tony is a seasoned IT leader and an entrepreneur with over 4 decades of experience delivering tailored technology solutions for small businesses and nonprofits. His career background is in computer operations, and he focuses on innovation and efficiency. After moving to the United States in 2011, he founded Juays Photography and has built a respected heirloom portrait studio. In 2022, he co-founded First Do Media with his son Gareth, helping local businesses grow through smart marketing strategies. In June 2024, Tony earned his HighLevel Administrator certification, solidifying his role as a trusted expert in digital automation and CRM systems. He and his wife, Melanie, have been married since 1985, and they live in Marshall, Texas. Their 2 adult children, Gareth is a firefighter and paramedic, and Zoe is regional manager for a men's haircut franchise. And they both continue the family legacy of service and leadership. So thank you, Tony, for joining us today.
Thanks.
Very good. What I'd like you to do is just introduce yourself, describe that journey from being a photography business to how becoming a CRM service provider.
Yeah. So, as you mentioned, my career has always been in computers. Started in computer operations, moved into programming, doing websites. Been doing websites for over 25 years, from Microsoft front page days. So computers has always been my backstop. Then having a sort of a creative element to that, had an interest in photography. We started a studio, very successful, sort of focusing on families and high school seniors. And then came along COVID.
Oh,
And, unfortunately, fortunately, a lot of people got laid off. Went to Sam's Club, bought a $500 camera and called themselves professional photographers. So there was a flood of photographers on the market, and we just never managed to recover. We still do a bit of photography on the side, but, that's not our main income anymore. So with that being said, reverted back to my IT knowledge and started looking at doing, online marketing for small businesses. I am a terrible salesperson. I do not I do not sell. That's my son's job. But I love coming up with solutions. Um, I'd love to find out what companies' pain points are and
Hmm.
trying to find a solution to that. And fortunately, coming across high level, um, that is just a sort of a Swiss Army knife of tools that are available to address certain pain points. So,
Hmm.
um, we got started with it, and we very quickly, got to the SaaS mode, the 497 a month option, um, and have been growing since.
Okay. Um, Fair enough. Thank you. Um, so in my journey with high level, I heard these people talking about when I was first introduced to high level, and I had a conversation last week. Our conversation was with Amy Schultz and Alistair McCartney, and they were my first introduction, my instructors, my developers, my coaches, when I was first introduced to high level. When I first introduced to digital marketing, I don't know how to do digital marketing without high level. Um, and what they were teaching at that time was the the traditional marketing agency that we're going to talk about with Tony today. Um, but then um, as that time progressed, we started shifting to this discussion about SaaS mode. And in the high level official community, there was discussion about how you do SaaS. And then high level, seeing that people were using high level as a SaaS, um, created SaaS mode to support that effort. Um, and so a lot of the conversation around high level became, so what does SaaS mode look like that's different than a marketing agency? And then this um community, this group grew up inside the high level world saying, don't do SaaS, do SWAS. And that's really that was the catalyst for me of don't do this, do that. And the people
Right.
that were doing that were saying, well, wait a minute, this is still valid. The each of the sides were just saying, do it my way. And I'm looking at it going, both answers are correct. And they aren't necessarily the right answer. And they still aren't necessarily the right answer. So as the discussion was happening in 2022 going to 2023, that's when I was looking at this, seeing there's people who are still using high level as a marketing agency, as the tool that they're using to provide marketing agency services. And then there's these two camps of SaaS versus SWAS. And then there are still people doing the affiliate model. And at the same time, there had sprung up these third-party support entities, um, who were helping people who were doing one of the other models, but who didn't have all of this technical capability within their own one-person marketing agency to do all of the things. And so they were offering white label onboarding. They were providing um, account build outs. They were workflow design services. And I was realizing that all of those are actually still valid business models. And over time, at one point, I was over eight. There's a reason that there's a reason that these numbers are always dividable by three, but not relevant to our discussion today. But the point is, at one point, I was getting all the way to, I was approaching 24 business models. And I realized that that's too granular to be really useful because suddenly you're having to artificially pigeonhole people into categories. Um, Really, somewhere between 12 and 18 was when I thought I had a pretty clear handle on the different ways people were using it. And then I realized that in actuality, some of the models that I were describing were just the boundaries. they're the gray areas between where the different models fall in the template. And when I drew them out when I sketched them out on a page, it became very clear that business model 2 and business model 4 and business model 3 all have crossover. There's a reason that they're on the chart. When I draw the chart and I show it to the people to the chart, the ones that are next to each other, there's actually a reason, there's a correlation between why they're next to each other. Um, and so instead of having 12 or 18 that are artificially granular, it's 9 with gray areas between them. And I'm going to go around the chart back in reverse order. Well, not exactly reverse order, in the order that I'm going to describe it just now, because we're getting to, with Tony, we're getting ready to talk about business model 6, the traditional marketing agency. So business model 9 are people who are doing software development. They're looking at HighLevel. They're looking at the gaps in HighLevel, and they're finding solutions to the gaps, to the workarounds, so that HighLevel is even more highly integrated than it already is. Or they're looking at HighLevel, at things that HighLevel doesn't do, and they're saying, I can build a bridge to make it do this other thing. Those are very software developer kind of intensity, and thus they're a category in and of themselves. They're separate from business model 8, which are the support agencies, because the support agencies, although they might use some of these tools, their primary focus is helping business model 3, 4, 5, and 6 use HighLevel for their clients. So those are the white label support agencies. Business model 7 is coaching advising, and we're going to talk with Patrick Allman next week about that business model. This session here, the GHL business launch, is training. Most of that, it falls kind of within the category of business model 7, except for the monetization part. It's really, you can think of it as business coaching with a very high level flavor, where business model 8 is, so business model 7 will be coaching about how to use HighLevel or why to use HighLevel, and business model 8 is actually implementing HighLevel, is kind of the difference there. Business model 2 is the value added affiliate. And so it's the boundary between, if business model 7 is a coach who charges for coaching services, business model 8 is someone who provides value, coaching, advising, provides a snapshot, provides a portfolio of tools, and doesn't charge because they're getting paid through their affiliate commission. Business model 1 is a pure affiliate. They're not even actually doing anything beyond just saying, hey, I have a relationship with you. I use this HighLevel platform. Here's my link. Why don't you sign up for HighLevel? Business model 3 and 4 are SaaS and SWAS, software as a service. So the service is making the software work, providing a template snapshot of tools that make it work for a particular entity. But in the end, the entity, the end users, who's in both business model 1 and 2, the end user is doing the using of it. In those affiliate models, all the technical support comes from HighLevel itself. Business model 3 and 4, the technical support comes from the HighLevel agency, not from HighLevel, because you're not subscribed, the end user isn't subscribed to HighLevel, the end user is subscribed to the agency's SaaS or SWAS. With SWAS, the difference between SaaS, software as a service, the service part is making the software work. Software with a service, yes, you're making the software work, but you're also providing some marketing services. And then, so that's the difference between the two. And then business model 5 is like a next step up, elevated software with a service. It's in both of the SaaS and SWAS, the end users who's doing most of their own marketing. The agency is just providing them tools and assets to do so. The SWAS part just means they're doing the assets are a little more hands-on. The agency is probably in the account every day or every week, making sure things are working correctly. In the business model 5, is no longer focused on the software. The business model 5 marketing partner is focused on being the outsourced marketing department for the client, helping the client market themselves. They just use HighLevel as the platform, as the tool where they share the information about how the prospect, the relationship with that customer journey is going. With business model 6, there's actually a degree to which the end user company is totally transparent that HighLevel is even in the mix at all. The point of business model, where we originally, what HighLevel was originally designed to do was help traditional marketing agencies connect the activities with the results for the end user client. And so it was, how do you gather the things that are happening in the digital marketing space and push those leads to the client in a way that the client has a high probability of closing that sale. In business model 5, we go farther along in that journey to closer and closer to being a sales and marketing department instead of just an outside marketing agency. Thus, that's the framework. And I went into a lot more detail than I think I intended to. But let's shift from me talking about what the models are to Tony, and this is what I asked you to come chat about, is even as people in the HighLevel world have shifted to this SaaS, SWAS, and this debate between which is better, there are still many people who are doing SEO or content marketing or email marketing or some of these other traditional digital marketing services and being very profitable. And at the same time, there are people who are confused by, well, am I offering SaaS or am I doing agency services? So what portion of your agency, and you don't need to talk in terms of dollars, just general percentages, or just a sense of, are you still doing SaaS? Is almost all of the things you do for clients, is it agency kind of work? What does that look like from a number of clients perspective?
Yeah. So for me right now, it's about, I don't have any pure SaaS clients.
Mm-hmm.
All my clients, I have a solution in place for them. And that might just be a plain, website with an AI chatbot and, gathering leads, or it's something more complex, that gives them a solution to a pain point that they had. Case in point, I had a window washer guy. In fact, one of my son's firefighter buddies started a window washing. They work hard, but they get a lot of time off.
Mm-hmm.
And so he started washing windows. Well, naturally, we put a website together, a logo, did the whole thing. But he was being inundated with requests for quotes.
Mm-hmm.
So, quoting for window washing isn't as simple as just adding up how many windows you got. It's how many types of windows, how high the windows are, how many panes the windows has. There's a lot of factors that go into it. So we took the time to develop a custom online quote platform that will take a user, ask them the questions, how many windows, how high, all that kind of stuff, give them a quote there and then, and allow them
Okay.
to book him for their appointment
Mm-hmm.
with taking a payment deposit. And that cut down his non-productive time, I guess you could say,
Mm-hmm.
by like 80%.
Mm-hmm.
So, that to me is offering a value. It's not a typical marketing agency
Mm-hmm.
role that we
Mm-hmm.
did there.
Mm-hmm.
we took a pain point for him and found a solution.
Yeah.
And it was all done within the HighLevel platform, which is
Mhm.
great. Um, I'm a firm believer in staying within the stable if I can.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think leading on to um, you know a SaaS business model is perfect for a salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
It's not perfect for someone like me.
Yeah. Which is counterintuitive, and I think that's. But okay, I'm gonna jump on that really quick, which is
Okay.
getting me off my agenda, off my script. But that's really fascinating because um, as a software IT background, software as a solution kind of guy, um, your observation is that selling software isn't the right way for you.
Because of me.
Yeah,
Right.
even though lot on the surface level, logically, it seems like, well, you should be providing a software solution. Well, the issue is you would you're as a solution focused guy, you want to provide a custom solution to that person, to that particular person's unique pain points. Instead of, and the same thing with SaaS, at least within the way it's described and packaged in the HighLevel world, is it's all about a productized service. It's all about scalability based on one size fits all. This is my package, take it or leave it. And Tony's saying, if all you are is a sales guy and you want to tell people take it or leave it, that's fine. But if you're a solutions focused person, that's not that's not providing a solution. That's giving them a yay nay decision criteria. And as a salesperson, a close is close yes, close no, but at least either way, it's binary. You're done. You know where you stand. And
Yeah.
Tony, I think what I hear you saying is I you would rather stay engaged with the person long enough to develop a relationship that lets you solve their problem
Yeah.
instead of saying, here's my package, A, B, C, buy one or walk away. Yeah.
And I think
Uh,
that also influenced the way we pricing our packages as well. Because
okay.
I think when we initially started, it was, we went for the pay per feature type pricing.
Mm-hmm.
$97, you get this amount, 297, you get all these features. Oh, you want the communities? Well, that's on the 497.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I soon came to discover that, a one-man business
Mm-hmm.
that might only have 50 clients,
Mm-hmm.
but needs the workshop element or the community element
Mm-hmm.
doesn't warrant the 497 package.
Mm-hmm.
So we changed our pricing in terms of usage rather. So if he only has 50 clients and it's just him, he gets all the features for $97. But my goal is to help him grow
Mm-hmm.
to the next level
Mm-hmm.
because I'm getting him more clients.
Mm-hmm.
He might need to take on one or two more staff members.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly he needs, the next level in terms of usage.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, yeah, that's why we went with that pricing option.
Yeah. So, what are some of the things that you do to help your clients get more business, get more clients?
Um, we obviously help them with the online marketing side of the business,
Mm-hmm.
through Facebook and Instagram. Um,
No. So,
we
are you running meta ads?
Yes.
Okay.
And we also do the social media
And
aspect to
so
that.
organic as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so one of the things that you and I interact with often within the high level world has to do with the category queue function
Yeah,
of the social planner, right?
yeah,
And it's because that feature specifically is so critical to being able to provide business model 6 agency services efficiently and thus at scale. Well, earlier I talked about price, about revenue value of what I mean by at scale, but being as one and two man agencies, um, at scale is also being efficient with my time because someone else cares about my
yeah,
time, right? In your
yeah,
case, Melanie, my case, Dawn, she doesn't like how many hours I spending at this sit against this computer, right? So, so being able to have the social planner do the blog post posting, do the social media posting, and the workflows respond to the engagement.
right.
I talk about social media comes in three categories: ads, content, and engagement. And and for you and I within high level, the limitations of category Q is almost resolved to the point where it's becoming very, very scalable.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
We just need to be able to make changes.
Yeah, yeah, we can't edit it. Once something's in the queue, we can't edit it anymore. And it's like it's frustrating. All right. Sorry, that wasn't the top, that's not the
Yeah.
main reason
No,
for today's conversation, but okay, so so yeah, so we do similar kinds of things for our clients. I think that's actually good enough for this purposes. Why in your mind with your observation, why would somebody not do the business model 2 affiliate or the business model 3 SaaS and instead focus on being a marketing agency, what I call business model 6?
yeah. So I believe, and I mean, there's people out there that will prove me wrong, but the attrition rate for an affiliate or for a SaaS client is high unless you can provide value quickly and um, for them to have a buy-in to the system. Um, I tell this story. About 25% of our clients are in the ag sector.
Mhm.
So, I sat this one client down and I said, just imagine you've got this brand new John Deere tractor. It's got all the attachments you can think of. It's got the lawnmower, it's got the pole digger, it's got, the front end, it's got the backhoe, it's got everything you can possibly think that a John Deere tractor can have.
Mhm.
And all you do every day is drive it out to the letterbox to check the mail. Yeah. And I think, and unless people can see the value of what they have and use it effectively, they're not going to buy into it. They'll
Mhm.
still take that tractor, drive it to the letterbox, check the mail, drive it, park it, go back inside. And my job is to prove that value and to implement whatever I can for them to see that value.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I think that's perfect. That describes very much the reason to that with the agency services, you're generating value for them instead of giving them a tool that they have to figure out how to use.
Right.
Um,
They've got their own businesses to run without
mhm,
having to, you know, what we spend every day doing, they
mhm,
don't have that time to invest into a platform.
mhm.
Um, so yeah,
All right. Um, what are some of the pros and cons or the risks and the benefits of, and you talk, I think you talked about it just now about the attrition rate if you're not providing value. So the pro I think that implies is it mitigates the risk of churn. It mitigates the risk of attrition. Um, because you're the one you can you can Devin Tracy talks about it here in GHL Business Launch. He talks about it in terms of force the win. If you're driving the ad campaign, if you're driving the social media content, you can, in his words, force the win.
Yeah.
Um, so that's I'm kind of putting words in your mouth at this point. I think when you say the attrition is high, unless you show value, I think that's showing the pro. What do you think is the con of being a traditional marketing agency versus like that affiliate or a SaaS?
Um, I think for me, the con is the reliability on my time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, I'd love to sit back and just watch the dollars come in every day, and that would be so nice. Um, but unless I'm out there putting in the sweat, you know, posts aren't going to happen by themselves. Facebook marketing's not going to happen by themselves. So I think until such time that my agency is at a point where we can outsource a lot of
Mm-hmm.
that, um, it's on me. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the same with our photography business. We couldn't go away or do much because I'm the photographer. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, so I would say that's one of the negatives.
Yeah.
I think if you lose a client, I've never touch wood lost a client yet, but then it's more of a financial hit
Mm-hmm. Because typically
than
they're higher dollar value.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think those would be the two main ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So a key advantage is typically their higher retainer income. When when and I suspect this was similar when you were first introduced to high level. You were introduced as SaaS was becoming this major push, and we had these 97, 297, 497 that kind of paralleled high levels pricing structure.
Right.
When I was introduced to high level, the initial training all talked about if someone isn't ready to pay a $1,500 a month retainer, they're not an ideal prospect. Um, Typically, that traditional marketing agency is 1,500 to 3,500 a month. Is that range on the low end, and then there's even for small businesses, and then there's large businesses that get into tens and tens of thousands a month.
Right.
So that's the key advantage is the amount of income that comes in per client is higher, as you just described. The demand on your time is higher, um, and there's this concept called concentration risk where because your demand on your time is higher, you can only take on a handful of clients. You get paid more, so the gross income is the same, um, but the concentration risk is if you were to have a churn, um, then then suddenly you have this very big hit in your income simultaneous.
Yeah.
Um, so I think those are advantages and risks or dangers to be considered when someone is looking at a traditional marketing agency. But the key advantage I think is you hit on it is you can deliberately show value. I think that's very helpful. All right. Um, what is oh, I know a different way than to ask this question, and then yeah. Um, so what in your experience and in your observation, what is the amount of time per client between you and Gareth that you have to commit on a monthly basis to each client? So that kind of caps your total number of clients that you can serve, or at least that you can serve well.
Yeah. Um, each client is different. Some are more hands-on and uh, take more time than others. Others, we sort of got them on an automated type deal.
Hmm.
So
So
it's
more of
hard
a
to say.
SWAS.
Yeah,
And there's a reason in my chart that 4 and 6 are next to each other, because 4 is the SWAS and 6 is the agency. And the more you can productize your service, the automation slides it from pure agency work to the SWAS model work. So that's I interrupted you again, but I think that's right on tracks.
yeah,
It sounds like you have some clients that are on that boundary between those two.
yeah,
They're not pure SaaS. They're more like a gray area between SWAS and agency.
yeah. Yeah, so to put it to, how many clients we could max out at, it's difficult to say.
Hmm.
Obviously, each client we take on, we're streamlining more, we're learning
Hmm.
more.
Hmm.
And we don't deal in a specific niche. So
Hmm.
I enjoy that because then it's a challenge. Each client's different. It's not the same thing every time.
Hmm.
Um, but I think in my mind, I'm looking to get to about 40 clients
Hmm.
where I could then look at outsourcing
Hmm.
some of the stuff.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Then that kind of aligns with my if I had this many clients in that category and this number of clients in that category and a handful in this other category, some combination of those three, which combinations do I really want?
Right.
Which one guarantees me long-term stable income versus which one are more agency related that I can force the win with? Yeah. So somewhere in that
Yeah. And
24 to 48.
I don't think it's wrong to have a mix either. So,
Hmm.
you know, cover your bets.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So if someone was listening to this and they said that thing that Tony talked about the S window washing estimate tool
Yeah. Yeah.
was really interesting. I need to know how to get how to design something like that. How do I hire Tony to build me something like that? Or how do I hire Tony to it's not window washing, but it's this other thing. Maybe Tony can help me figure out how to solve that problem. Um, or if they wanted to literally get a hold of First Due Media and say, hey, I like the way Tony talks. I like his commitment to solving my problems with the client. If someone was in one of those kinds of buckets, how do they get a hold of you? What does your offer look like? Um, how do they know they're talking to the right person?
Yeah. Well, they can simply go to tony.firstdue.media and book a call with me and, we see if we're a good fit.
Okay. All right. That's the quick answer.
Yeah.
Uh, I hope that when you described that solution for the window washing client, I hope that it was clear that I I heard that as a very valuable skill set that you bring to the table. Um, and I hope that if someone's listening and this is something that they want or need, that now they know how to find somebody that can do that for them.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. We're actually pretty close to on time. We started a little late, so the total recording might be less than an hour, but that doesn't, we're not training to time, we're training to standard.
Yeah.
And we covered the ground I wanted to cover. So, um, The reason we do these trainings is so that someone who is trying to decide what their business, their laptop style business, um, I'm tired of working for someone else. I want to do my own thing, but they're not quite sure what that thing looks like. We're trying to provide a framework to help people think through um, what that should look like for them. And none of the people that I'm talking with should it be the right thing for you, whoever is listening to this recording. Um, you should be on your path, your journey. All of this discussion is about what other people's journeys look like, and therefore give you some context that maybe is different than your own experiences. All right. Thank you very much, Tony. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Keith.